So today, we're going to be answering the question, can you daily drive a lowered truck? Well, I don't know about everyone, but I sure am going to give you my experience doing it. The first thing we're going to go over is actually your wheel and tire fitment. Your wheel and tire fitment can make or break your build, and also it can make or break your drivability with these trucks. If you go with a conservative setup, say a 22-inch wheel and a 285-inch tire, or sorry, a 285 wide tire, I'm pretty sure you could daily drive this truck. But with me and what I'm using the truck for, the 24s, 305s work great. It gets the job done. It's more of a, I'm gonna look aggressive, I'm gonna ride good, and I'm gonna be reliable, but also I'm going to slowly wear everything out. So let me explain that last part. So right up in here, you get a very good idea of what that right there should not be there. That should be fender liner, like it is down here. But with my aggressive wheel and tire setup and the travel, that is what happens. Smaller wheel and tire setup, you're probably not gonna do that. And that can be fixed, but I'm about to tell you why I'm afraid to fix it. So you can get a extended upper control arm for your 2015 through 2017 F-150s, and it's going to fix the camber issue, but I'm scared to do it, and I'll tell you why. Because I do not want to tear apart my fender. I'm scared if I push it out to about right, it'd be flat. I'm scared I'm gonna start knocking into my fender and it's not gonna be a functional truck anymore, because instead of it hitting plastic, it's now hitting metal, which is a little bit more scary for me. But you know, that's one downside. But again, smaller wheel and tire package, you should be good to rock and roll. Now let's talk about going over speed bumps. Speed bumps are actually pretty easy with this thing. You're gonna scrape a little bit, but you're not going to scrape enough to tear your oil pan up. You're not going to rip or bust anything. And you can still moderately go up driveways and stuff that are dirt. You might just scrape a little bit, but it is what it is. And instead of scraping your bumper, you're actually just going to scrape your little shroud right there. Which, I mean, you can trim this and you still get all the functionality of it. But, you know, you can actually see right here, I've tore mine up a pretty little bit. So, that is all of the craze right there. You're going to scrape the front end. Some people are going to like it. If you go to a mini truck show and you scrape and you're on a static truck like this, people are going to love it. But some people, not much. And while we're at the rear, I'm going to explain to you kind of one of the bad sides to driving a lowered truck when it comes to everything. At night, let's just say your lifted boys blinding the crap out of you because they're going to be beaming right into your back glass. Luckily, side and Splaco sticker right there, so it solves all my issues there. Yeah, that's all the negative things. Let's get to some of the positive. Now, one positive is your gas mileage. Let me show you. So you click through all your crap, you go up, and eventually you're going to go down to trip and fuel. Bam. You get to see your gas mileage and your estimated mileage till E. I have 15.2 miles per gallon. Mind you, I do play with this truck. I'm pretty sure you can get better. Matter of fact, on road trips, I have got better. I've got upwards of 17 to 18 miles per gallon. And the truck rides very smooth. The truck is a very good riding truck. And that actually leads us into our next point of why you can daily your lower truck. So another reason why you should daily drive your truck, or your lower truck at that, is actually because of the ride quality. The ride quality of this truck is great. I've daily drove this truck for several months like this before I put the stripes and everything on it. But I daily drove this truck. and it does great. It does a great job. It does. Another reason why you can daily drive these trucks is because yes, you are going to be lower to the ground. Yes, you kind of do got to be a little bit more careful where you go and stuff like that. Like your bridges are going to scrape when you go over them and everything else. But at the same time, your truck is a little bit more practical. If you're a little bit older and your knees ain't as good, you can get in and out of it easier. It's not that hard to get in and out of it. Plus, too, it's not as bad as your back. With my Beltec system that I have, it rides really well. It reminds me a lot of a Cadillac. It rides really well. It's really smooth, and it's not very tough on a lot of your suspension components, and it's not very rough on anything. In reality, it's actually pretty smooth. Here we have our 24-inch niche vices and a 24x10. Again, they're going to beat you up a little bit when it comes to your rubbing inner fender liners and stuff like that and everything. But the Nitto tire that we wrapped it in actually does very well on the grip side of things. It does very well when it comes to your stopping distance. It does a lot of stuff for you that helps out a lot. And it's a very smooth riding tire. These tires ride the best out of any tire I've ever had on my vehicles. I've had your KO2s and stuff like that. But this truck here, with these tires are really a really good solid tire. And it depends on really what you're willing to go with and what you're willing to sacrifice if whether or not lowering your truck is for you. Let me explain. The reason why I lowered this truck was because I got into mini trucks and I didn't have the money to go build a mini truck. So that is why I lowered this. And you can go that route. You can lower your truck and it can be a great thing for you in the long run. But if you don't have someone do it right, like me and my friend, we did this in a weekend. The kit was $900 and all that. You can go south really fast for you. You have to cut bolts and you have to cut the exhaust and stuff like that in certain places. So there's some stuff there that can go wrong. But for the most part, if you have a basic understanding of what you're doing, you can knock this kit out in a weekend like we did. And, you could drive it and go get new alignment and everything. And it'd be good to rock and roll. So with that being said, should you daily drive your lower truck? With the right wheel and tire setup, yes. Yes, you absolutely can. But if you don't have the right wheel and tire setup, this right here is going to beat the absolute crap out of you, and it's going to beat the crap out of your pocketbook. Because if you're like me and you're a perfectionist, you're going to look at some stuff and you're going to go, I don't really like that, and I want to fix that every time it gets dented. Like, for instance, the inner fender liners. I've thought about replacing them so many times, but it's just a matter of actually getting in there and replacing them and everything else when I know they're just going to get destroyed again. So it's like, why should I even try? Or, you could tub it and put the tubs in, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to get the full functionality of my tubs until it's on air, and I don't really want to put it on air right now because I don't have the money to do that. So I'm just going to kind of ride like this, But besides that, it's a pretty good idea. And I think, for the money and for what you can and can't do in a shop with it, and for the functionality and the everything else you're going to get, you can do pretty good with a lower truck. You can daily drive them. You can race them. You can go cruise your local town and everything, and it's going to turn heads because it's like the new craze right now. Everyone's lowering their truck. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you as the consumer to think about it. If you don't have to, I wouldn't. Like, if you got a trailer you got to tow, I would not do this at all. But I don't have a trailer that I have to tow with this truck. I got another truck that can tow a trailer that this goes on. So, it works out pretty good in the long run. But either way, that's me talking about my lowered F-150 today. If you like it, we're going to be doing a lot more videos. I know I've been leaving y'all on kind of a hiatus, been kind of going through some stuff with life and work and everything. So I'm back, and I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. So have y'all a good one. Well, that did not go to plan. And now it wants to run. That's great.
Get myself into the game.